In Zbrush, you can pose things in a couple of ways. So you don't add a rig like you would in Blender or Maya or Cinema 4D or anything like that. What you can do is you can just use a masking solution where you use what's called the transpose line, and that's what this video is about. So I'm going to show you how I quickly test poses on characters while I'm working on them. And the other way is to add a Z-sphere rig, which we're going to cover in another video. So in this one, we're going to take this creature that I've worked on for some videos that I'm currently doing, and we're going to pose it and see how that looks. Okay, so let's dive right in. So this is a character that we've sculpted up in a recent video. Control and N just to clear those the screen. It's not got its final level of detail yet. I've just basically done the block out, and the primary and the secondary forms are all done. But I want to test it before I go any further. So I want to actually move some of the joints around, and I want to see how it performs in different poses. So I do this well before the end of a design, and it helps me to understand if the joints are working, if I need to add more volume, or if problems that could come down the line. So what you need to have done is make sure you've got a low poly version of it. So this one is currently there it's at 2.5 million, and there it's at 10 million. So you can't pose anything at that amount of polygons because there's too many polygons to move around. You have to have a low res underneath, and I'll do another video soon, probably the next video, about how to do projection from a high to a low poly. But for now, just understand that there is a high and a low poly version in there. So if I do Shift and D and come down several times, you can see that this is the low poly. I'll just change the poly group with Control and W, and just so as it's a lighter color for you. Let's get something like that. There you go. So now you can see the polygons. So they're not low res. It's not production ready. It's not low for that regard, but it's enough for what we're about to do. Now it's got something in here. It's actually got eyeballs, and what we want to do is be able to move the eyeballs with the body. If we move anything around now, so let's turn off X, which means there's not symmetry anymore. And if I was to do anything with the head, the eyes are going to stay behind because they're, as you know, they're in the subtool over here. So what we want to do is be able to move them all together, and you do that like this. So you go to Z plugin, and you come down to Transpose Master, and you do Pose Submesh. And what it's done there is it's gone through. If you had high res models, it's lowered them down, presuming there was a subdivision levels in the model. And what it's done is it's basically stamped it into memory, so it knows how to go back once we've finished. So now what will happen is we can move the eyes and the body together, and then when we're finished, it will come back from that. So what do we mean by that? So let's first of all understand how we're going to move things around here. So we're going to have to use masking. So we'll do Control, tap this button at the top, and go to Mask Lasso. And now what that means is I can basically just holding Control, I can now draw around where I want a mask. So there's no symmetry on now. We've hit X. So what I want to do is just mask off that head like that. And then what I want to do, and this is the reason we needed a low poly, is if I do Control and tap on the model, it blurs that mask. And that's the most important reason for having a good low poly model. If this was high res, you couldn't mask that way. It would take ages, and the break between the blend just wouldn't be good enough for what we're about to do. Now the head's masked there and the body's going to move. We don't want that. We want the opposite. So that's Control and I to invert the mask. And now what we want to do is go R for rotate. But notice that we've got the gizmo, and what we need is what's called the transpose line. So we come up here and we hit Gizmo 3D, turn it off, and we've now got this transpose line here. And what this little stick is basically is it's a way to move things around. It's the old-fashioned way that we used to move things around in ZBrush before the gizmo came along. And what you do is you tap somewhere and pull out, and that gives you a line. If you have got, let's turn perspective off, and if I drag out like this but hold Shift, it snaps to an angle like so. So that means you can really predictably measure it out on a level. But also you can still move that stick around by grabbing in between the tick marks. So let's position it before I tell you any more about it. So I'm going to drag out here in the middle like so. In fact, I'll drag it to the front. This is the point where it starts, so this is the pivot point. So if you think about this head, we want to move the pivot point. Let me just get it in the right place again. We want the pivot point roughly where our head would tilt. So it's where the top vertebra is, which is, just so that you know it, your last two vertebrae on the top of your spine are your atlas and your axis. So the atlas is the bone that your head sits on, that your skull sits on. So we want this to be right where that bone would be. So we'll predictably put it there. And look at it from this angle, and it's not in the middle. So let's come to the top. So rotate round, shift. So grab the middle again, and we want to put it right in the center, or roughly in the center. So that pivot point of the transpose line is dead center on where that bone at the top of your vertebra would be. So if I pull, not that point, but come right to the end, this is how I now move it around. And notice how the neck is bending there. So it's not always a good idea just to do it from one place. Sometimes it's good to do a little bit of a move and then move this transpose line a little bit. And I'll show you what I mean. So I'll bring it back a little bit and do it a little bit. I'm going to bring it out to the side a little bit here and then do it a bit more. And then I'm actually going to, rather than just rotate, I'm going to move. So I'm going to change here to move, which is W. And now if I do that and I grab the middle one, I can move that around. And notice how the body's staying the same. So sometimes when you turn, you're stretching. So you're not just bending. You sometimes would come out a little bit. So I love the fact that I can show you this on the screen, which is it's a bit weird, but it's a good way of showing you. And then we'll move that out a little bit like that. So let's come down to the side and you'll see what's happened. Now P for perspective back on to get a good feel of it. And you can see there, that's twisted the neck in a nice way. So now we've got the core of the move done. But what we might want to do is tweak that. So I'm going to pull out again, move it down again, like so, and then bring that head around. Now, actually, I'm still on move. So you notice there, I made a mistake. So Control Z, undo, and make sure we're on rotate, which is R. And then I can do this. And if you can see here, if I keep dragging and moving it, you're getting different pivot points. So your job is to make sure that it looks good from all angles and that you look realistic. It looks realistic, as if, you know, as if you've bent it in the right way. This really only works when you've got the low poly mesh. If you try this on a high poly, it's game over. It doesn't work at all. Now you might find that you lose a bit of volume in here. So what you do is come off this by hitting move as a brush down at the bottom, or BMV. And then that move is now we can move the actual polygons like this. You could clear the mask and then move that around. So if we've lost any volume, like on that shoulder there, or that neck, sorry, going into this shoulder, then we tweak it like that with a move. So you will be doing this quite a lot. You'll be, you know, I've got a mistake there. I didn't have a, you know, I didn't have the blend quite right in the middle there. So you might want to pull that back. And you might even, and it doesn't matter if you do this, you might even want to smooth it down a bit. If you've done any damage, you might want to smooth it down. But what you've got to do, that won't affect the upper levels of your sculpting, by the way. It only affects it on this level. So make sure it looks good all the way around there. And then we'll move to another part. So that one probably would be good enough for a start. It looks good with it just twisted. Now what I want to do is twist this body a little bit. So I'm going to mask all the way around here, and you can see there that's the body pretty much done. I missed the arm there, so add that in, and I've missed the back there as well. So just take your time, make sure that you've got everything done. So that looks good. And now control and blur it so that it blurs right the way through from one to the other. Just undone it by mistake there. Keep blurring it. Now back to your transpose. So you want to go to rotate. Drag it out from the middle here. Make sure it's in the middle of the body, because you don't want to bend it from, you know, you don't want to bend it when it's right on the edge. And then Control and I to invert that mask. And now we can turn that body a bit there. So let's come right from the top and we'll turn it there. See what it looks like from this angle, from this angle. Remember, it's just this one at the end that you're doing. Make sure something's happened there actually. Look. We've left something behind there. So that's a good example of how you can get it wrong. So I'm just going to go back and look what I've done. What I've actually done is left a little bit of masking there. So just make sure with Control and Alt that there's no masking. And now do it again. So come round and bend it. See there's nothing hanging, nothing being left behind. So that's perfect now. So that looks cool. We have lost a bit of volume there at the back, if you notice. So we're going to pull that back and fix that. And we've maybe pushed him too far over. So let's angle him like that. That looks good. And I think we can go with that one. So we'll clear the mask. That's Control and strike up. And then just go in and just fix any of the volume issues. So if that did too much there, or it lost too much there, bring that round. So that's looking good. That's fine. Now this arm, I just want to bend this arm up a bit. So I'm going to, instead of inverting it, what I'm going to do is if I do Control and again add Alt, then it will just mask that area. So that's a good way to learn. I'm only going to tap it once because I want quite a tight line here. And then R for rotate. I'm going to pull it out the front here like this. I'm going to bend that arm up. Now with a joint, I always move it several times. So you can pull it out the back, for example, but I do a bit from the back. I do a bit from the front and then a lot from the middle at the front like that. And slowly you'll get a joint that will be, see how it's going inside it there? That's what you would want. You would want one to compress into the other. So, but you just need to be a little bit careful because you might get some folded over geometry there. And the way to fix that, if you do get that, is to go in with a very, very subtle inflate. So you just inflate that muscle up. Now bear in mind, if you were to dynamesh this now, you would seal that joint across and you couldn't unfold this arm. So this is much more like it would be with a rigging solution. Let's just take that hand now and we will bend that hand down. So we've just done the same as we've done on the joint there. So we've just got a bit more dynamism in the hand. So I'm happy with that. We'll leave this hand here. And with the legs, I'm going to do very, very little with the legs. But so now you know how to do this. I'm going to show you a different way of doing it. So what we could do is we could keep masking like this. That's one way of doing it. But if you just go and pull, so you're on move now here, and you hold down Control and pull, it will pull along the geometry, the topology. And this is another reason why the topology matters. So you can pull from anywhere and it will pull along that geometry. And this is a reason why you need good edge loops. It's one of the top reasons why you need really strong retopology or built correctly in the first place. So that leg, we can mask it by coming up like so until we hit where it basically gets to the thigh. Or to the pelvis there, and then Control and tap to blur it, Control and I to invert it, like so. Put the pivot at the top, and we'll just kick that leg using R for rotate. We'll kick that leg back a little bit. Now, one thing I've noticed there, and I'm glad we noticed it, is the eyes weren't masked. So come along here, make sure those eyes are masked, and then rotate that back. Turn perspective off, snap it to the side, and have a look what's happened to the foot. So because we've angled that leg back like so, we need to now come further down. I'm using the other way of doing it, and then angle this down. And you notice now it's back in place, and then we angle this one forward like that. So that's given us that leg kicking out the back a little bit, but they're all too linear. They're all just facing forward, and I don't want that, because if you're twisting your body, you might want to kick the leg out a different way. And I'll show you what I mean by that. So let's go back with that way of doing it. Blur it. And then from the top, I want to pull it out the side like this, and I want to just rotate that round. Forgot the eyes again. I want to rotate it round like so. What that does is it gives us a little kick out to the side like this. Now, it might stretch that joint a bit there at the top, so you can go in and fix that. But let's actually bring it down a bit further like this, and then we'll twist it from the knee as well. So just reposition this and twist it from the knee, and there you go. So we've got a nice twist to that back leg there. We didn't need much. You can actually just, if it's a tiny move, you can just bring it forward like this. So I don't bother with the masking if it's just a very, very tiny move. And if you want to not, so notice how I moved that knee and it moved the elbow. Well, if you don't want to do that, just use move topological and it would just move the one rather than the other. So you could bring that hand back. And a large brush, so hold shift to get a dynamically large brush if you need to. Like so, you could just bring that back like that. Too much. Like that, something like that. So these are tiny, tiny tweaks, and they might want to go a little bit closer together, like so. Now, should we just adjust that spine a little bit? I think we should. So we'll mask down here, like so, and we'll just put a little bit of a kick in that spine. So invert that, and we'll just, so I'm just trying to work it out how the twist of the spine would come this way probably. So it'd just be a tiny bit this way like this. There we go. Now that dynamically looks so much better already. We've done very, very little. If I wasn't teaching this and showing you on screen, it would have been a lot quicker. But you can now, if I do Shift and F, you can see even in the low poly rough, you can see that dynamism makes this creature pop. So this is how we can test if we've designed it correctly at this point. And this is only a very simple stance. What you could do is dynamically get it running, jumping, fighting, whatever you think the creature might need to do is how you should show it in these shots. And then obviously, now we need to get the detail back. So we need to get the high poly detail back. So all we do is come back to transpose and hit T-pose sub T, and it adds it all back in. So now if you go to the body and just go T, it will just basically go back, and there's your subdivision coming back. So now we've got a really dynamic pose just with using the masking tool and the transpose line, which is why we need the transpose line. If anybody tells you, oh, I love Gizmo, Gizmo is the way forward, then it means they're not doing this kind of work, that they haven't realized how powerful the transpose line is. Take your time with the transpose line and learn how powerful it is for this kind of work. And that's how you'll bring your creatures dynamically to life, even if you're just in a very early stage. This has got no surface detail or anything like that. So that's stage one. So that that's all I'm doing in this video. That is how to pose a creature using masking. And in a future video, I'll show you how to do that with a Z-sphere rig. So you put a rig inside it, which makes it, the big difference I find is this is good for one single pose, and you might move on and disregard this pose. If you want to constantly be reposing it, it might be worth putting a rig inside it, but we'll cover that in another video. Thanks for watching the video, and I hope you're liking this kind of content. This is Zbrush, and obviously we're doing a lot of different software on this channel. So we've covered Nomad Sculpt for a long time now, and for some of the people who have followed that journey with Nomad Sculpt, they would want to move into programs like Zbrush and beyond, really. So if you like it, give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and I can let you know when I'm uploading new videos, which currently is every week.